What's up, everybody? It's the Spiritual Light Passing Through, Miss Pat, and I'm back at you with another video. I usually started to do lives, but sometimes lives can be distracting with the chat and everything going and people talking when you're talking. So I wanted to do this video because I told you all we were going to deep dive in the next video, and it's time. Something was revealed to me during this very rocky time of my life, and I kept asking why, and then finally the Most High revealed it to my mind, some things. So I hope you can bear with me during this video and understand a few things of where I'm coming from when it comes down to the topic I'm about to talk to you about. And this is shadow, and I told you I deal with shadow. I deal with the shadow of a person because the shadow of a person is what keeps you locked into this matrix. It keeps you locked into this reality. And until you're able to conquer shadow, you can't come out of this place. And I'm going to say this, and this is not me talking, so understand, this is not Miss Pat. You understand? This is not Spiritual Light Pat. This is something else talking through me to you to get you to understand, so you all can start this awakening process a little bit more. Get into it seriously right now, because it's time. Your shadow was made because of the different experiences that you all have had inside your lifetimes, okay? In this life, you are conditioned to believe you are insignificant, you are small, you're just a person who has a regular job, has a couple of kids, married, and that's it. And you're so much more than that. Many of us do not remember who we used to be in another time, in another life. This is seriously a big assimilation in a big school. One gigantic school. And all the people in your life play a huge part of this school. Okay? We all are playing parts inside this lesson that we are all learning in different ways and shapes. Okay? And what I mean by that is this. I'll take me, for example. I chose my mother in this life, and I know I did. I chose her because of her spiritual abilities. Okay? Even with my sister, we did not get along very well in this life. But I chose her as well because she would be a part of my mom and very much so a part of me learning certain things. And I'm going to get into detail about these things. So show you how your life is not a mistake. How the people in your life did not come into your life, good and bad, by mistake. In my particular life, my relatives and everybody that's a part of my life is just like a theater, and they are actors inside the lessons that I needed to learn on this plane. All of them, from the good loves to lost loves to loves that you would love to forget, you understand, to all kinds of different situations that I found myself in all through these small 50 years of my time. Okay? Now, what I mean by that is this. I'm not just a regular, insignificant black woman on the south side of Chicago. I'm much more than that. Way more than that. Ever since I was a kid, I wished I had powers. I wished I was a different type of person. My eyes were a different color, not because I had some self-hate thing going on. No, I like the color of the eyes of a cat. And even in this life, I paint my eyes similar to cats. I also paint my eyes similar to Egyptians because I had a fixation about that world and I never understood why. But I understand now. The people in my life, like I said, have all been characters in a theater of my life. They all have times when they came into my life, and they have times when they exited my life. Some through death, some through moving on and going on to other things in life, and we no longer interact with each other. But the ones who passed on through death, they are not dead. They're just their time. They're part of my act, of their act in my life had ended, and they have gone back to see whether or not if I've learned their lesson in which they contracted with me to give me in this life to wake me up at this time. My mom, She was excellent with spirituality, but in a circular way, inside the way that all of us are used to going to church and things like that. That did not resonate with me. But she still had a very huge part she played inside my spirituality that made me go in the other direction, but still brought me to this point. So, Mom, wherever you are in the universes, job well done. My sister played a part in my life, even though we did not get along and we were more foes than we were friends. She showed me how to be able to identify charlatans, how to be identify people who were not my friends, people who were only around for what they could get by her life experiences, by me watching her and her not listening to me when I told her that these people were not good for her. She taught me how to be able to have sharp, discerning eyes when it came down to spirits. Well done, sister. My grandmother, bringing my mother into this life, showed me even more spiritual things. That there was nothing wrong with nature and understanding nature and how to heal things, how to bring healing to people, to see about people deeper than what was necessary in meeting someone. Well done, Granny. My grandfather showed me to be able to look at things, even the worst things that could possibly happen to you, from a different point of view and see the good even in a bad and heinous situation. Well done, Granddaddy. When you awaken to the fact that this world in which we live in is not a real reality, that mama, daddy, your children are not really your real children. They're just brothers and sisters playing a part in this thing called life that you chose to experience as a spirit. They're just people playing parts that you contracted to help you learn certain lessons in this life and also help you identify certain things inside your shadow. Even the people who leave you, because baby, believe it or not, it's all about love. All of this is about love. Even when it comes down to people who have hurt you, raped you, done terrible things to you as a child, those people were contracted because your love was going to be so powerful at some point. Not because your love is tainted, the reason why somebody had to do something terrible to you like that, but because it was very powerful coming into this world. And their job was to try to mute it. And your job was to fight past what they tried to mute and love anyway. Because you're capable of it. That's why it happened. That's the reason why the dark swooped in on you so quick as a child to try to kill that part of yourselves. Some people never get a chance to understand what their shadows are. Their shadows are things that have come together over time into a being that shaped you who you are today. There are different feelings. There's love, there's jealousy, there's envy, there's hate, there's strife, there's misery. There's all of these different spirits all into one that make up your shadow. And you have to wake up to the fact that that's all they are. A test that you must overcome. Our feelings you must learn to control in this time before you can graduate into the next. You got somehow brainwashed into believing that this reality was really what was happening. This reality is not what is happening. And how you know that is that at the very moment that when you need the Most High the most is when family, friends, and all others abandon you. And you come to him with everything that you are and ask for help. And he gives you that help. And you like, I just asked and then everything worked out. And I was at my very edge of literally falling off a cliff or going crazy or losing my mind. And he granted me the prayer I asked out of desperate. Out of, you know what I'm saying? Out being desperate. And all of a sudden, you didn't understand why out of all the times that you prayed, he listened right then at that time. It was because at that very moment, you forgot about this place. And you went to him with all honesty and sincerity and asked for help from the creator of this universe. And he said yes, because you recognized it was a you and a him thing. But the moment that you got what you needed, and you said thank you, some of you may have, some of you all may have forgot because you got caught up in the fact that things are moving now and you're no longer in that desperate area anymore, and you forgot about him. But then sometimes your mind goes back and says, wow, we got out of that. I felt like I was going to lose it. I felt like I wasn't going to be able to make it through this. And then all of a sudden he gave you a helping hand. Is because at that moment you recognize it's about you and him, but you really didn't. You went back to thinking you're this small person with a small job and a small family, and this guy that may love a woman that may not love him, or a woman that may love a man that may not love her, and you went right back to sleep again. Instead of staying awake and understanding that the only time you come hand in hand with Most High is when all of the things that you've been conditioned to depend on are all gone. That's the only time you see him. It's when everything is stripped away from you, when mama dies, when brother and sister dies, when everybody's gone. When people who have gone through what I've gone through and lose my whole entire family. That's when the Most High is right there saying, I've been here. I've been waiting for you to wake up. I'm sorry I had to use that tactic of taking everyone away from you for you to understand that they're not what you think they are. They are not the end all. They are not the only thing you have. You have me. You have the creator of the universe at your fingertips when you need me in this assimilation. But we want to go back to sleep and say, no, I'm small. I don't mean anything to the Most High. The Most High is just taking time out to just possibly give me air today, to let me go on another day, to have another day. He really don't care nothing about me. Look at my life. Look at your life. Your life is the way it is because you believe that's the only way it will be. Because you believe in the assimilation instead of understanding that this place is not real. The real you is asleep someplace. The real you is greater than you could ever even imagine. Thank you to Brother Delaney for reminding me of that. And the Most High took what that man told me on the phone and helped me see through the matrix that all of this, your house, the car, all, it's not real. You're inside of an assimilation. That is true. You can live, you can breathe, you can die physically to this world, but you can't really die. People can hurt you in this world, yes, but they cannot hurt you if you understand that what they're bringing to you is a lesson. That what they bring to you, negative or positive, is only something that's going to help you master who you're supposed to be in another place, in another time. But now, you're going to have to become that here in this world. Now. That's the reason why you got this ticket at this time. It's time to wake up. It's time to understand that the people that are in your life are literally players who said, okay, I'll play her mom. I'll play her grandma. I'll do this part. Meanwhile, she can play my best friend or my sister, and I can learn from her the things I need to learn, and all of us can be able to try to at least graduate with each other if we open up our minds to be able to get past shadow. Shadow is a huge thing because All of these people play a part in creating that shadow inside of you. But you have to learn how to master shadow. And learning how to master shadow is understanding that all of these people are not what you think they are. They're teaching you a lesson, big lessons. Lessons that will help you move on to the next. Don't take everything so seriously. We all want to love. But in this life, it may not be that you have love in this life. Maybe in this life, you need to have the ability to understand your spirit is yourself before you're able to love someone else. But many of the people in our lives have taught us great lessons, including some of the more sinister people that we have met, some of the biggest heartbreaks. And some of those big heartbreaks have made our shadow do what it is. We walk around with these feelings of guilt that we're not worth loving, that our love is strange. Our love is not worth anybody reciprocating that same thing back to us. And that becomes our realities. Instead of understanding that some people are only giving you what they have because they have not yet understood their own shadows themselves. Do you understand what I'm saying, y'all? Most of what is happening to us on this planet is all about love. That sometimes we have to love ourselves to get away from people whose shadows are too toxic for us. Sometimes we have people living right in the same house with us that want to love us so much, and because we don't feel like we deserve it because of something that happened to us as a child, we can't get past this thing. We can't understand it. You understand? We can't get past it so badly that it stops us from loving somebody that is so desperately trying to love us and everything about us and sees the beauty in us, but we can't see the beauty in ourselves because shadow is standing there saying, believe that you're nothing. Believe that you're small. Believe that you're unlovable. Believe that you're not good looking enough. You're not this enough. You're not that enough because someone told you or someone said that to you that you loved once upon a time that didn't have the capacity to love you back. And you took that shadow and made it where even if someone is loving you the right way, you're too afraid of it to even indulge in it, to even entertain it, to even entertain the thought or the words that they're saying. You don't even believe it because it didn't come out of somebody else's mouth that you once loved a lot, that didn't have the capacity to love you back. So you don't believe it coming out of anybody's mouth. So shadow blocks you from any kind of love from anybody. And that shadow is a lie. It is not real. It is telling you a lie, and you believe the lies, and you sit there and you listen, and you even tell yourself negative things about yourself to strengthen that shadow. So even if a person is standing there trying to give their heart to you in every way possible, you cannot hear. Wake up. That shadow was placed there for you to be able to understand and know a lie when you hear it. And when a new person comes in trying to give love, to be able to differentiate the lie between the truth. The question is, can you take the sadness and the guilt and the depression out of yourself long enough to be able to differentiate between the two? The lie that you told yourself, can you stop yourself from lying to yourself to be able to see the truth? Once you realize that you are greater than what you think you are here on this earth, that the people that are around you are only players in a story, your so-called earthly reality, because that's all it is. See, in this dimension, we have to think a thing And then we have to make that thing happen with our abilities and our hands and our minds. If I want to move something from someplace, I literally have to affect this thing to move it. Okay? This is the third dimension. In the third dimension, there is a cause and then there is an effect in everything that we do. If I walked over and started to talk to a good-looking man that I found attractive, I found him attractive. My cause, I've walked over because I found him attractive. The effect is I walk over and I talk to him. And if we strike up a conversation and we begin to find out that there's things that we like mutually about each other, now there's an effect that's happening. And we may get to know each other and go out even more. And there's another effect. We become more intimate with each other and want to have a relationship with each other. That is another effect. Okay? Thoughts that become real things. We think a thing, we do a thing, and then it comes out into the regular world. This is the third dimension. Somebody hurts a child, or you're a child and that uncle does something inappropriate. It affects you in a way that you are no longer innocent to touch from another person that is inappropriate, and you know something is wrong. Your body, in every sense in your body, tells you this is wrong for him to touch me this way, but yet this person continues to do so. He is creating a shadow within you. You saw the shadow created when that feeling came across you that you did not particularly care for. When you told someone you loved them and they said, I don't feel the same, that irritating feeling came across you and started to make something appear in your spirit that once wasn't there. Now it's here. Do you understand? Do you see how the shadow is now becoming animated and becoming something that has now become a part of you, that is going to sit with you for a long time until you awaken to the fact that these are experiences. They don't really have any control over you, but yet they do, if you allow them. Now, since me and all of us have had these experiences, what do we do with them now that they've made a shadow with us? You need to understand right now, by waking up, that they are not real. They're experiences for your spirit. So it has an education on certain things. They're to help you learn certain situations, how to behave, how not to behave. Some of us went through molestations and became drug addicts and beat it and came out of it. Some of us did not. Some of us died in drug addict situations and could not get past that shadow at all. Some of us have turned into beaters of women because a woman told you they didn't love you a certain type of way. So you figured in order to make this woman love you, you need to beat her into submission. And that is nothing but fear. But why did you do that? Because once upon a time, someone beat you into submission and made you fear. So now you figure that's the only way to love, instead of loving the way you know how, but you're afraid to. Men who hit because they don't feel strong. Women who will bruise men's egos do that because they have been abused and they feel powerless. Wake up to who you are going to be. You are more powerful than you think. People want to say God, goddesses, small little deities, whatever you want to call it. You're a spiritual being, more powerful than you could ever even imagine. It is time to wake up out of this strange dream that you have been in for quite some time. You have been haunted by deaths of relatives who have not died. They're only in another plane. They were here to teach you lessons and then exit the stage. New players come on the stage regularly. And at some point, you will exit stages in other people's lives and they will not know what to do. But the one thing that brings you back to the reality of all of these exits and entrances and exits out of your life is this one thing that's constant, that you kept missing, and that it was the Most High. At your most desperate times, He came through with answering prayers. Why did He come through that time and not other times? Because you finally, when all these people and all of these connections were no longer things that held you, where they were no longer things that you could depend on, is when you found Him one-on-one in this life. You must find Him one-on-one again. You must mentally take away the people around you and understand they are not real. They are not dad and mom. They are your brothers and sisters playing a part. And they don't remember who they are either, because their tests have different, everybody's got different parts of this test. Some people have to learn how to love. Some people have to learn how to be unselfish motherfuckers. Okay? Some people have to stop being sick, sadistic bastards and bitches. They got different parts to play, y'all. And you may be a part of that. But you have to understand that when things get rough in this life, you can go to the Most High and ask Him to help you. Help you understand what is happening here. Help you understand how to move in a situation where you don't know what's happening. And you must accept who you are in this life, because things are about to change very, very soon. If you have abilities that are coming to view and up on the surface, stop lying to yourself telling you this is not what it is when you know it is what it is. If the elements respond to you, if animals respond to you, if you talk to someone and they just tell you the truth out of nowhere and keep telling you the truth, even though they can't stop themselves from telling the truth, there is something that you are doing to them. And they like, I can't believe I just said that out of my own mouth. But they keep telling you things. You're tapping into your old self of who you used to be way before you came into this planet. Those powers are coming back more and more every day. Get used to it. Wake up to them. Accept them. Quit saying I think I might be going crazy. No, you're not going crazy. You're just waking up to who you used to be. And it's time. Quit sitting here trying to act like this is not happening. It's happening. If it's happening to me, it's happening to you. I'm on making this video to make you understand. And I know some of y'all crying right now in the midst of this. It's time to wake up, y'all. It's time to get out of the depression of, I lost all my whole family. No, you didn't. They're on the other side watching you. They want you to wake up. They played their parts and it was time for them to go. You have grown accustomed to this life and being small. You're far from it. And you will never be small again after this video. Shadow is accumulations of you thinking you were a small individual with no power in this world and that things just happened to you. And your way of coping with them was internalizing them, punishing yourself every day for other shortcomings that others may have inflicted upon you. That's all shadow is. And those people that inflicted those things were players into making you a more powerful being. The more hurt and the more harsh, the more diabolical your experiences have been on this planet, meant you were going to be a more powerful being. You were vying for a high space in another place, in another time. And you needed those experiences as a part of the resume. Sorry. I'm going to stop right here. Wake up out of the dream. If you think about what I'm saying right now, you'll be able to understand. It's very clear what I'm saying. The Most High needs you to wake up to the fact that all you've ever had in this life as a spirit being on this planet in a human form was Him. It's always been you and Him. Everybody else has been shadows. Shadows to teach you how to find your way back to Him. But you've been missing it all this time in depression and in mourning for people and things who were only teachers. That's all they were. Those experiences were teachers to make you a bigger and better being. You got caught up in thinking, this is all there is. I'm just a black man in a white man's world having a hard time. No. You are a powerful being in a world you chose to come to that had many challenges inside of it for you to overcome. You have overcome many. You must overcome this now. And that is the awakening to the fact that you must wake up. I'll see you next time, you guys. Think about what I'm saying. And I'll talk to you soon.